On today's episode of WatchJRGo, we are back in the shop with my 1987 IROC-Z Camaro I just bought for $1,000. And in the last video, we found rust. But today, we're gonna put a fresh fuel tank in it. What is going on, guys? I am WatchJRGo, and like I said, today we are back with my 1987 IROC-Z Camaro that is up on the lift, and you can see that we've got quite a bit of it apart. The exhaust is down, panhard bar's down, the locating arm's down, all that good stuff that holds the rear end in place. So now, if you give it a wiggle, ooh yeah, the rear end can go side to side. And you do not want that happening in normal operation. But here we have a bunch of rusty holes that have made their way through the metal fuel tank here. So like we mentioned before, the old ethanol fuel sits in here, draws water, the water goes to the bottom of the tank, and the tank rusts out. And we have a new tank that we ordered, and it's at O'Reilly's, so we just need to go pick that up. But of course, we also need to get this tank out of here, and to do that, I think it's empty, but we're gonna make sure it's empty right now. There we go, the old gas catching solution right there. So I'm gonna take a drill. I know it's always sketchy. We do have brass punches that are non-sparking that we use on plastic tanks, but on this, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna need a drill, even though there are these like great rust spots. And I'm gonna use a right angle attachment so I don't get fuel dumping into the drill, and then we'll just punch the rust hole right there, and we should have the old gas or water, whatever's in there, in this gas can. Now, a lot of times I use a step bit for this, but I think this is the setup today. Should work out pretty well. Who knows how good this drill bit is, but let's find out. Ooh, that gas tank is paper thin. Wow. All right, here we go. Yep. Old tank rusted out and there's nothing left. So I can't say I'm upset about that. It felt like there was nothing left when we wrapped on it. But as you can see, there's a hole in the tank and nothing came out. So getting this out is gonna be way easier than I ever imagined. And obviously the pump's locked up as well. We did start with that. We are getting nothing out of the pump, not even a peep of noise. And you can always hear these things start up. So I'd say she's done for. That means it's time for me to get right up in there and loosen up all the clamps on those hoses. I know we still don't have smell-o-vision even in 2025, but I can tell you guys, it stinks in here. Everything smells like bad gas. And as soon as we can get this out of the shop, I think it's gonna really help me out from a health perspective. I don't wanna smell it anymore. So I'm gonna set up a socket. Yeah, well, we're making progress here. There's one. That one's the breather. Here goes our evap and our vent, or our return, that is. And we should actually have fuel in the return. So we shot a lot in down the rail. So I'm expecting this one's gonna splash. But maybe not. Maybe there's just nothing in this fuel system at all. Wow. Okay, we got nothing. Now all that's left is the high pressure line. I'm gonna disconnect that. It's not gonna be fun. It's actually threaded, so we have to figure that one out. And here's the old wall. You're in there. Try to get this fuel filter off. Ooh, look at that, it actually came loose. Now we did soak all this with knocker loose, so that might be why that actually worked. Let's see if we can repeat this feat. Oh, can't beat that. And we do have our new fuel filter here already, so we're ready to drop that on as soon as we get that clamp loose right there. I got out of the way just in time to get tons of nasty fuel pouring onto the floor of that fuel filter there. So time to soak that up. It stinks again. I kind of want to light it on fire. I'll show you guys what the fuel looked like that came out of this thing. I lit some on fire already and it is terrible. Here's the gas that came out of the fuel rail. Yeah, that's bad. It's been burning for a long time now too. It's been burning for 30, 40 seconds. Let's see if we can make this mess just a little bigger now that we've got this all apart. Whew. More and more nasty yellow gas. Well, the fuel filter is out, but we found something interesting here. There are O-rings on both sides of the flare fittings here. I know people are gonna say they're flare fittings, they don't deserve O-rings, but they absolutely do. They have a lip just for some Vuitton seals right there. So we need to get replacements for both of those because they both look like they're in horrible shape. And I do wanna make sure the fuel filter doesn't leak. And you know what? I'm kinda guessing when we get up here to this last line, it's gonna have one too. So with that said, I'm gonna break this last line loose and then we should be well on our way to dropping the tank. Well guys, let's see what happens. All of the lines are unhooked, which means it's time to take the tank down. One strap down. So far so good. All right, hadn't fallen on my head yet, so that's something. What's it gonna take to get it out of here? So everybody says the nozzle retains it, which does seem to be true. And if not the nozzle, the muffler. You pretty much do have to have the muffler out of here. But let's see if we can sneak past it. We've got the neck halfway down. I might just cut the neck off. It's not like we need the old neck when the new one's got it built in. Here she comes. So much dirt. Whoa! Look at that! This is not working on a Camaro. This is the movie Dune. It's a reshoot. Come on. How is it not out? I don't understand. But it does look like if we just do this in reverse, we can put the new tank in without dropping the rear at all. Because the rear is not holding us up, it's just the neck. That's the only thing on here. Shout out to an empty tank. That's not possible with anything in it. That was high on the list of most miserable things I've ever done. It's also why we quit the other night, because I knew it was gonna be this bad. I figured you could get the tank out and it would just ruin the rest of your day. So that is all trash that came out of the fuel tank. The fuel tank itself looks horrible, and that does look like a factory everything. So what we're gonna do now is brush all of this off. We wanna get all the dirt out of there so we can tap the lock ring open like that and get the pump and cinder assembly out. Tank cleaned off, and we all know this old song and dance. It has been off. There's some marks where this ring's been spun before. There she is. Oh, that looks terrible. Look at it. Straight out of SpongeBob's hideout. Oh, what did I get into? Wow. And guys, I know I wanted to replace the fuel cinder assembly, but we're gonna clean this up and hope and put Techron in it, because this little pile of trash right here, these little pipes with a pump, cost more than the entire tank and pump assembly together. Literally, this is outrageous. And we also might need to save this O-ring, I'm not sure yet. So, we'll go ahead and pull her out of here. Oh, that's why the cinder doesn't work. The cinder rotted off. Oh, we might have to buy it. Wow, I didn't think this was gonna be world ending. Oh, the sock rotted off too. It's not even in here. That's bad. We're trying to prevent the 65 from ending up with the same fate, so obviously I'm trying to run the entire tank of gas out of it as soon as possible. But it's running very well. So solid. You guys remember this thing pretty much ended up with bad gas in it after sitting for 2 years. And today I made an O'Reilly's run earlier, picked up a bunch of heat and ISO heat. First we started with heat, then we moved on to ISO heat because it was plopping away as it was eating all that water out of the gas tank. So I'm trying to get all of the water absorbed by that ISO heat and not hit the dump truck here. Not only do we need to get all the water absorbed into the fuel, we need to burn it all out. So we are going to drive this thing as much as possible, get every bit of fuel out of it, and then fill it with ethanol free. And I'm not one of those ethanol free fuel guys, just to be clear. Everyone knows that. I prefer ethanol, I prefer E85, pure ethanol like E100 and stuff like that to any other type of fuel. But if your car doesn't get driven, make sure you're running no eth. So, you know, the old cars, they end up sitting or they break. And if you left ethanol in there, well, the price tag, just like this thing, got very, very, very much more expensive. Also, we have to make 2 O'Reilly stops, so we're probably only driving this to the close one. And then I have to go all the way across town to the hub because the cinder is in stock. Windshield needs clean, that's for sure. All right, guys, we are here at O'Reilly's. Let's run inside, grab our new gas tank, gas cap, lid struts, everything else in the book. Thank you. Guys, we're going back into the secret zone where I made a mess out of the warehouse by ordering this. I hope this fits, but it looks like it's right. We got the craziest box in O'Reilly's existence right there. Thanks for grabbing that, dude. Yeah. Helped me out. I've got the lift struts here, and gas cap doesn't fit the tank. What a good looking taco. Wild. Anyway, guys, we are here at Casey's, home of the mediocre pizza. I know it's an opinion, but they have so much non-ethanol here, and we're gonna go ahead and get 5 gallons of 91, fill up the Camaro. Before I drive like 30 miles to go get that sending unit, I wanted to check the tank as well. Not because I thought they got it wrong, but just because we weren't sure. There's multiple sizes of this tank actually. So it only made sense that it was like the 14 gallon, and I think that's the one we ordered here. And when we look at them, they look the same. Honestly though, that one does look bigger. I'm not sure why. In reality, I'm pretty sure it's exactly the same. And also, I know I didn't show you guys inside, but here's the old tank. Whew, that is nasty. All right, guys, I know everybody's been wondering where Gabe's at, and Gabe is right here, actually.
I'm here. I've been here the whole time.
Look at that. It hasn't moved.
He moved. He moved, not me. I'm here.
That is true.
Yeah.
But I needed some butyl rubber to insulate this gas tank, and it doesn't come with it. The factory ones do, and I figured we might as well put it back. So Gabe has all of the sound dampening here.
All the sound dampening.
All of it.
I'm all about dampening.
So we're gonna steal this roll from him for a minute, cut a little bit off, make some little strips, and that should keep it factory-ish. Ish.
I mean, it works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we were going for.
I love it.
Anyway, thanks, Broseph.
Absolutely.
Yeah. This weighs a ton, doesn't it? Oh, not bad.
No, it's not.
Not bad. Cool. Well, I will see you soon. I might bring the Mullimobile over here so you can go for a ride.
I love it.
Yeah, I gotta pay you back with
free rides.
Yeah, free rides. All right, later, dog.
Hey, later, man.
Well, we've certainly gone from a car that was complete to an absolute disaster. But here we have the old sending unit. The new sending unit is in that box. We have the fuel line O-rings, which should be SK26, but the 3rd gen forum says it's SK18. There's only 2 O-rings in this though, and there's like 12 in here. So I'm pretty sure if you need to do this, SK26 is the correct one. And now it's time for me to cut some of that butyl rubber right there and build basically these guys right here. that keep the tank from grinding on the frame and making a bunch of noise. So I'm gonna get busy doing that, clean up the disaster we have here on the floor, and then we're ready to install the tank. Well, we gotta build the sending unit, but that's easy. This is what needs done though. And we need to push it all over the gas so we can absorb it all. So there is the FG20A sender all put together with the fuel pump and the sock. And I'm lubing up the O-ring right now that holds the assembly into the tank there. So it takes a little bit of time to get an O-ring this gigantic coated, but this should make install much easier. So we'll set that guy right there. And then before I send this completely, I'm gonna cut those 2 strips and stick them on real quick, and we should have the entire tank assembly wrapped up. Now, unfortunately, the gas cap is like a mystery for these things. The old gas cap fits the new tank, but the new gas cap didn't fit. So I guess for now, we're putting the old one back, even though I don't want to. The old one does have a cracked O-ring. I might just try to replace the O-ring, but according to the internet, that gas cap doesn't exist anymore. We're trying to make her as factory as possible here. So, Dynamat's probably pretty close to what this originally came with. So I think here's what I did on the other side, right about there. And just lay this in the gap. And then we're using our Dynamat roller here to make sure all this lays down. Get some good adhesion. Time for the sender. How is this even possible? The float has to go in first. Got it. All right. So this thing's actually keyed. You cannot mess it up. Woo! There's what a new tank is supposed to look like. It's all set up, senders in. Now I just have to grab the screwdriver and the hammer and tap the lock ring into place until it's completely down to its tabs there. But we're ready to rock. This tank is ready to go in. Let me clean up the giant mess I made right here. And look at that, new O-rings, new lock ring. We didn't have to use any of the old stuff. We are fresh with this new setup. Well, it's all buttoned up. Are we taking bets on whether it's going in or not? Because it could be miserable and it could just go right in. And this like butyl rubber on here, which is more of like, it feels like sticky paper in reality. And I think that's what it was. I'm gonna leave it as is. It's held up this long, but it's not really centered anymore. But this obviously, you know, also keeps the tank from making noise. The whole goal here is to keep it from rattling around. But with that said, here we go. Let's try to shove it in this hole without dropping the rear at all. Well guys, the camera battery died because it ended up taking like 45 minutes to get the tank in without dropping the rear. But basically the rear did get dropped. I went ahead and pulled this shock and then pulled the spring out and then pushed the exhaust off to the side after the wheel came off. And that's what it took to actually get this tank to drop in. So you don't have to drop all of the driver's side, but if you can get all of it out, that would be amazing. Now, all I have to do is hook everything up, and the lines don't want to cooperate. If I hooked it up as is, it would kink the feed line there like super hard. So we're gonna have to shove these up and out of the way, at least the main fuel line. And let's go ahead and plug in the power. I'd like to go turn the key right now and make sure everything's working. I'm a little surprised this isn't going in easier. There it goes. And we kept the lock and everything for this connector, so we'll plug the lock in right now and finish tightening down this strap, hook up the lines, and hopefully start the car. All right guys, there's the old crushed O-rings that came off of the filter. And you'd think the filter would come with fresh O-rings, but they sure don't. Let's hope. Looks right to me. So we're gonna put our 2 fresh O-rings on here. They're just gonna pop right over the would-be flare fitting, but actually O-ring. And of course, one side here is just pouring gas out after we disconnected everything. I'm gonna pry that off of there or something. The gasoline just completely destroyed the O-ring on the tank side of the filter here. So it is horrendous. The O-ring's like half melted. I mean, these are Vuitton O-rings, so they shouldn't do this with fuel on them. But who knows if the old ones were. The new ones are for sure. All right, so now we're ready for our new fuel filter. Flow goes arrow this way because it comes out of the tank and heads towards the front of the car. So now we'll sneak the filter in. All right, let's see. Is it gonna fit? I think it's gonna fit. Watch the threads be wrong. No, she went in. All right, and repeat over here. I want to make sure that the O-ring seats first. I'm going to tighten up these flare fittings, and we are ready to put gas in it and start it. That's it. Obviously, we got to put the whole rear end back together, but that's another job. I put the muffler back, and I got to take it all back down and put all the heat shields back on. So we're going straight to starting this thing right after I tighten down the filter. It's time! Look, I deserve it after the 5,000 hours that went into putting that tank into this. But we are going to put gasoline in this thing right now. It's going to be slightly tricky. There we go. And then we're going to test fire the pump, which I'm very excited about. So I think we need to get probably half of this jug in here, because just the way the sock actually sits in this tank, I hadn't seen it before, but it sits kind of horizontally towards the bottom of the tank. So since it doesn't like go underneath the pump, I don't know if it can actually suck all the way off the very bottom of these tanks, which is probably why everyone with one of these cars, 3rd gen, 4th gen, we all know, you drive and everything's great. It takes like 2 days to go from full to quarter tank, and then that quarter tank to the car being dead on the side of the road, it's like 5 minutes. So it's probably all because of the sock location. It's not dumping on the ground, is it? I'm hearing a lot of rushing. Honestly, we got a couple of gallons in there. Let's see. Let's see if she's ready to rock. Oh. We'll go ahead. Also, this has the smallest filler hole I've ever seen. What a mess. But I'm gonna go ahead and turn on the key and let's take a look and see if fluid comes out. So this is the feed line from the back of the car, and I'm gonna shove it back into this VP can so we can dispose of the old gas, because I wanna make sure we get fresh gas through the lines and all that good stuff. So let's hit the key and see what happens. Hopefully, you just see a rush of gas going through the plastic. No go. That was a weird sound. All right, I think we got all the old gas out of the lines right there. Shouldn't have been that bad. So with that said, let's get a clamp opened up here, and we're gonna go ahead and put on our feed line and see if she starts. We can hope. We can hope. It's starting to make a weird noise while I was cranking though. It's kind of scaring me. Does it say? Okay, it does say fuel injection. I was waiting to see it say not for fuel injection right on it. She's tight. Let's see. Does it want to run? struggling. It's either timing, it might need plugs, probably needs plugs, or it's out of gas. I'm just happy it runs. She's already coming up on throttle quicker. Incredible. Incredible. You know, we haven't checked coolant or anything like that. And it kind of, there's nothing in the reservoir there. Let's check the radiator itself. Anything on the, no, the lines are dead cold. There's good looking coolant in here, and I hear some noise, so actually I think the cooling system's gonna be okay. We definitely need to put some more in it. But with that said, the tank's in, the car runs, and I think it's time for a complete tune-up. We're gonna have to check spark on every cylinder. We should really get in here with the old thermal gun and just use that to figure out what this thing needs. But amazing. 6 O'Reilly's runs, and we rebuilt the entire fuel system, all of it, which is crazy. I'm gonna lift it back up, check for leaks, and hopefully if we're good there, we're ready to start working on getting everything else sorted out tomorrow. Oil change, diff fluid, transmission fluid, everything on the planet needs done. Anyway, that is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to head on over to shop WatchJRGo.com for cool shirts just like this. And please like, share, subscribe, do whatever you want to do, and I will talk to you next time. It's really alive this time, not starting fluid alive. So crazy to see. And hopefully just a little bit more time and circulating whatever was left in the rails back through the tank and into the fuel filter will help fix any issues that are left under here. So, like I said, coolant, oil change, we're gonna go after all the fluids in the next video, and we should be driving it at the beginning of the next video because it's ready to drive after I put all those heat shields back on. This is the third pile I've sucked up out of this car, and it's an inch tall. Insane. Here we go.